How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is RuffledRowlit, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, guys, we're going to be taking a look at the most recent Pokemon rumors and stuff like that. To be honest, there hasn't really been a lot, and I've been still planning to make that big video going through every single leak and everything. I know that thanks to my boy, Makio, over on Poké OS, he actually did put together an entire, actual breakdown of everything, which I'll show you guys really quickly here just for context. In case you guys want to go take a look at it yourself. He literally messaged me about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago at this point, when he put it together. But I'm going to show you right here what that looks like. So here it is. It's his entire breakdown of all the different leaks and stuff we know about Gen 10. So again, if you want to take a look at that yourself, feel free to do so. It's on PokeOS.com. Go there, check it out if you want to. But now let's go back and take a look at something else, which is going to be a rumor from 4chan, which there is plenty of these on there. But this is going to be the first one, which is the following. And we're going to zoom in a little bit so I can actually read this, otherwise my eyes are going to be falling out. But here we go. Let's take a look at it. You guys want to pause the video, look at it yourself, go right ahead. But here's what it says. New Pokemon Winds and Waves Wallace. Not sure what that's supposed to mean, but it says the following. Starters are Grass Bat that evolves into a Grass Dark type. Huh? Fire, okay. A Fire Tadpole. See, a Grass Bat, I don't think would be that crazy. It might sound a little crazy, just off the top of our heads, just trying to imagine what that would look like. But honestly, not that, nuts. A Fire Tadpole that evolves into a Fire Ground type. But, Tadpole, in what way? Right? What way, would it be a Tadpole? How would it look? Because we already have a few tadpole-looking Pokemon, so how would this differentiate itself? And then a Water Monkey, which I don't think is going to happen very likely because we already had Grookey as our Grass Monkey. We've had too many Monkey Pokemon in general. And just overall, in terms of, Monkey Pokemon, I feel like they've already done one as a starter. I kind of doubt they're going to do another one, but either way. Legendaries are Humanoid, which that would actually sound like the most realistic thing right here. I ain't gonna lie, dog. This sounds like the most realistic shit they possibly could say. Oh, guys, we're going to make the Legendaries Humanoid looking great, lovely. Another bipedal Pokemon instead of a quadruped. Either way, that sounds realistic, though. They call them a Flying Ghost, Water Ghost. I don't know if this actually can be proven or whatever based on the leaks. I don't remember because I'll be frankly honest, there's been too many Gen 10 leaks and it's all kind of jumbled at this point. By the way, remember Shellos and Gastrodon with East and West forms? Well, some Pokemon have that, but with more complexity. Psyduck has a new form like Convergent forms. Water Poison type based on a Platypus. Okay, so first of all, remember Shellos, Gastrodon with East and West form. Okay, fine. Well, some Pokemon have that, but with more complexity. I do wonder what they mean by that. How complex? How different? Will there be specific differences with genders in specific parts of the map? Let's say if it's a, I don't know, hypothetically, a Mankey, right? You got a Mankey that's from the southern part of the map, from a southern island. Will that Mankey potentially, because let's say that area is warmer, will that Mankey have a different, color fur or a different typing because it adjusted to that environment differently? And then, of course, will it still be just a Mankey or will it be a regional form? That's another thing I'm a bit curious about. How different will these forms be realistically? How complex, right? And also, what would they be justified as? Will they be a regional form? A convergent form? What are they exactly? By the way, of course, then Psyduck with a new form like a convergent form, that doesn't sound too far-fetched. I mean, convergent forms were introduced in Scarlet and Violet, so them continuing with that in some way, shape, or form doesn't sound too far-fetched. I'm just saying, okay? It doesn't sound like too far out of the realm of possibility. Then a Water Poison type based on a Platypus. I've been waiting for a Platypus Pokemon for a while. I think we don't have one yet, do we? Unless you count, I guess, Psyduck? But he's a duck. He's not really a Platypus, is he? No. Don't really have a Platypus, do we? I don't think so, at least as far as I'm aware. Because I know there was that one, the one that ended up in Temtem, which was a Fakemon for a long time. That's, the only Platypus I could think of, and that's not a Pokemon. Either way, Kangaroo Pokemon normal type. Why a kangaroo, though? That seems a little weird given the location, because we're in Southeast Asia, not Oceania or Australia, whatever. So, but then again, I'd love a kangaroo Pokemon. I wouldn't mind it. The only one we really have, Kangaskhan, I guess. Maybe there's another one that I don't remember, but that's the only one I can think of. Salandit has a male evolution. That's actually sick. Okay, great. You know what? Fuck yeah, dude, because then all those, freaking shiny male Salandits that are just sitting in my Pokemon home or whatever can finally have a use case, because otherwise they're just fucking useless. So you know what? That actually sounds great. Either way, Pure Water Sponge. Is this SpongeBob? And then a normal Kangaroo, a new shark Pokemon, which is Water Steel, Bug Dragon Pokemon, and a pseudo legendary, which is Grass Dragon. A Grass Dragon type, I wouldn't mind. Not gonna lie, I would be totally, wouldn't be opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to that, boss man. I'm just saying. All right, I will be totally on board for it. So yeah, this is like just one of these 4chan rumors. So I don't usually take these with like too much seriousness because let's be real, there's a high chance it's most likely BS. That's just the, you know, the name of the game with these kind of things. It's always just people kind of posting whatever they can imagine in their head. But there's always a chance. Remember, we have had real, actual 4chan leaks that have given us several things in the past, massive moments, and also in more recent times, you guys may know, with the more recent like leak seasons and stuff, where it's been a little bit more explosive, I would say. You know, there has been real stuff leaked on here, so just keep that in mind, keep that in the back of your head, because it is relevant across the board. But either way, we're gonna move on to the next thing, which I think is going to be this post right here. So this is the following information coming to us from Soul Silver. First of all, if you guys haven't seen them, these are apparently the official like 30th anniversary logos, which I hadn't seen until like today, because I haven't honestly kept up with the most recent stuff. I'm only getting back into the kind of roll of things, but they look pretty great, dude. We got Magikarp, we got Pikachu, Pokemon since 1996. Looks fine, looks great, looks all right. Nothing too special to say there. Let's just move on to the actual stuff, which is the post it's here. For months, my friend Yuri has been saying shades of blue and yellow could be the Gen 10 colors. I didn't buy it until today. And this is where the important part of these logos comes in, right? This 30th anniversary logo can and will probably be used for more Pokemon colors, but these were the first, and they line up with the blue and yellow in Scarlet, Violet, and ZA. Now, what does he talk about? Well, if you look at these two colors, right, blue and yellow, those are the colors used for the actual promo logos, which is fine, but it doesn't end there. The flowers in Scarlet and Violet, I think this is Scarlet and Violet if I'm not mistaken. Wait, actually, isn't this like ZA? This might actually be from ZA. Because I know in Scarlet and Violet there's those, no, in ZA there's those two pillows. No, this is Scarlet, sorry, this is the ZA, this is ZA. So this is ZA, there's flowers in ZA in one of the rooms. I think, is this the player room? I think it's the player room, right? Yes, which are the colors yellow and blue. Now you might think, oh, that doesn't mean anything. Trust me, it does. They often leave these kind of hints. And if you look at the actual, the colors here on the, like the rags, you know, used for dishes in the Scarlet and Violet, like, player house, you'll see that those are also blue and yellow. Again, that might be a little bit more far-fetched, but it is highly possible that those will be the colors of the two games, given the amount of hints to these two colors. And also, blue and yellow, they kind of seem to match well together. The combo of those two colors just matches perfectly. I mean, hey, I'm just gonna say it, dog. It's the colors, like literally the colors there are the colors of my home country and also the country I grew up in. So I'm very happy with that. But either way, it does look pretty like convincing, I would say that. He also says, it would be kind of weird to wear off from the classic red and blue, but black and white, sun and moon, sword and shield all kind of did this in a way too, and the yellow could be thought of as part of red, especially if red is incorporated somehow. Yellow is my favorite color, so I might already know which version I'm going with. But yeah, I'm gonna go for the blue version. I already know, dog. But here's what Jordan actually said about the same thing, which was, so I've come to realize, and actually we covered this a long time ago, that this pink and yellow color combo is just the colors that represent Kalos. That's why the Volcanion Shiny looks so bad. And what they're talking about here is, you guys may remember, these pillows. Now, I know this is the thing with Pokemon leaks and stuff and Pokemon coverage, man. You literally would be looking at colors of pillows and be like, guys, this means something. Trust me. This is the truth of it all, guys. This is the source of every piece of thing you've ever wanted to know. It's all here. Listen, basically, these two pillows, we were kind of speculating for a bit here, thanks to Jordan, that this could be the colors of specifically the actual like box art for the next game's Pokemon Winds and Waves. However, we now know that those were actually the colors of the legendaries, I guess, like, are they mythicals? I kind of confuse Volcanion and Diancie and Hoopa for if they're mythical or legendary at this point. I cannot remember. Oh my god, I'm getting old. By the way, so he then corrects and says, however, this blue and yellow secondary combo for Scarlet and Violet is still weird, and I think might be the true colors hint for Generation 10. And this could actually come from, again, a lot of different things. The vests on these specific outfits being an inverse of blue and yellow, right? Like, it's a bit strange. Why wouldn't they be colored in the colors of the actual region, which were, you know, orange and I guess purple, right? Like orange and purple, because, you know, scarlet, violet, etc. Why wouldn't it be those two? Actually, yeah, why wouldn't it be those two colors? Well, most likely because they were hinting at it. And they do this all the time, by the way. You thinking that they don't do this doesn't mean anything. Trust me, they've done it in the past. I just cannot bring up any examples at the top of my head, except like the Tiki mask from Black and White, which was... I think it was a Tiki mask, or was it in Golden... No, God, which one was it again? Was it in Black and White, or was it... I can't remember which game it was in again. But it hinted, basically, future remakes and stuff like that. So they've done it in the past. It's not too far-fetched. And if we even look down here, this was a post made by Dil Mudiki, who says, I mentioned this a while ago, but I'll say it again. I like it to be coral and turquoise for a change. But yes, yellow and blue are very likely to be the actual colors. And... here they were trying to do like a little thingy, trying to show all the different colors. You got red, green, gold, silver, ruby, sapphire with like the blue and red, you know. Diamond, pearl with like a blue and kind of purplish. Black and white, pretty straightforward. X and Y again, blue and red again, same as like what you have with ruby and sapphire. Then sun and moon, orange and like sort of purplish, right? Sword and shield, you know, blue and in this case, I guess pink, right? Pinkish, yeah. Like blue and pinkish, which is similar to what they did with Diamond and Pearl. And then Scarlet and Violet, again, red and purple. So there's always a kind of a similar vibe going on. Now, their prediction here was that Winds and Waves would be something like this, like turquoise-ish sort of, which I do think we're not going to get that, unfortunately, based on like the stuff we've seen now. I would have preferred that, actually. I think these colors would have been great, but I think they are more likely going to stay with these, you know, this combo of colors right here. Like, this does look like it's going to be the case. But again, I'd love for us to all be proven wrong and then it ends up being like something completely different. That would be the best case scenario, in my opinion. But again, I'm just talking. Either way, next thing. This is a post by Soul Silver. It says, Pokemon leaks with Darwin, the Wallace line, and the extreme biodiversity of the Malay archipelago in Australia. With all of these, I guess, are they going to include Australia? Is that why the kangaroo post actually makes sense then? Because, I mean, then again... I don't know. I guess we'll see. Either way, perfect time for to see a new evolution or two. Lots of bug, bird, poison, reptiles, and fighters for typings. And then down here was a spoiler theory that he had, which was basically all about, I guess, like the different forms that we could get, right? Because he was talking about like, oh, could we get like a new and improved East and West form for different Pokemon, right? Like as we mentioned for that post earlier, you know, as many have pointed out, there has already been biological boundary lines in the Pokemon world. The Mount Coronet Mountain Range splits Sinnoh in half, and of course we have the two fellas looking different, right? Because this barrier, the mountains cause two different biodiverse areas on each side, and because these Pokemon couldn't cross the barrier, Shellos evolved one way on the western side of the range and evolved differently on the eastern side, which brings us back to the original post here that, or instead of more east and west forms, could we see tons of regional forms of Pokemon in Gen 10? Maybe even multiple regional forms of the same Pokemon, but in the same region, which I think that's something that will happen, right? So what we're talking about, well, think about normally, right? We have a Pokemon game that comes out in most recent times, right? When you get a regional form, since like Sun and Moon, it's always like a Pokemon from a previous region, and then it just gets one new form or evolution within that new region that's supposed to be like it adapting to that environment. But imagine if in one single game, we could have one Pokemon with several different forms depending on which island it's from. Because remember, this entire game is about islands and exploration of that kind. So is it possible that we could get something of that nature? He even says, if there's really a biological boundary line, the Wallace line in Gen 10, that could mean that a Pokemon could get a regional form that evolved at a certain way due to the environment on one side of that line, and then got another regional form that evolved different way due to the environment on the other side of the line. Example, on one side, Druddigon gets a volcanic regional form, and then it gets a second marine regional form on the other side of the line, those two regional forms in the same region. When you think about it, we haven't truly seen regional forms back since PLA. Maybe they purposely didn't make any regional forms in the recent games because they were saving to bring them back in a big way in Gen 10. Alternatively, they could go the convergent species route, like have Diglett on one side of the line and Wiglet on the other side of the line, and then do this with a new look-alike Pokemon too, which is probably what they're going to do. More likely is going to be that last option, because it's easier. Okay, let's be honest. It's easier than creating a bunch of unique forms and clogging up the list of possible Pokemon. But yeah, so again, this brings back the idea of like, maybe we will get a new evolution. I mean, it's been a while, and it is like the prime time for a new evolution, because listen, new evolutions sell merch. They do really well. So it's really odd that they haven't done it yet. And it's just about time for them to pull something like this out of their, you know, little magic hat, right? To finally do something that will actually make a splash. And I think this may be the one thing that could do that. But again, that's just a matter of time to see if it actually does come true, or if anything does come from it. But, you know, I digress. It is what it is. That's pretty much all I'm going to say on that. And, yeah, that's pretty much also all there is to say for this video. That's going to be it for today. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. And I'll, you know, I'll be coming back, hopefully, with more stuff to talk about. Just a bit of a lack of information at the moment. And I'm trying not to force too many videos out if there's not really much to talk about. But I'll try to get back to posting as often as I can. I'll do my best. But, yeah, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.